Dr. Kenny Davenpine is one of the musical greats of Nashville, who's also known as one of the leading internal medicine experts in Dallas. Now, through his music and medical background, he's created an educational and enlightening musical medical conference that inspires audience around the world. It's such a pleasure to have you in our studio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Heather.
And what a background. I mean, that is something you don't hear about every day. Somebody that is a doctor by profession, helping people and enlightening them, and also health conscious and a musician.
Yeah.
I mean, a true Renaissance man.
When you have a calling, it's always best to try to respond to it, and it won't seem to let go.
Well, we're going to start off with just being healthy. And one thing as far as what you eat, we hear so much about gluten. Explain that in layman's term, why is that such an issue right now?
Well, that's a good question, and so you're asking the why. Let me just quickly say the what.
Okay.
And what gluten is a protein in wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Now, there's a slight controversy whether oats are a problem for everyone, and the answer is probably not. So wheat, barley, rye primarily, spelt and teff are cousins of those, so those are the grains that people can't eat. And then oats in people who are sensitive, which is about 20 to 30% of all gluten-sensitive people. But there is a reason why this has become such a real epidemic. It has to do with the altering of the genes of wheat that has happened through hybridization. Just our farming practices probably haven't been the most ideal. We've done things to our bodies like blocking stomach acid. Acid blocking medicine affects the digestion of your dietary proteins. And so if you don't digest protein as effectively, then you have more food sensitivity. But gluten in particular, this disorder has been identified for 2,000 years. So it's probably been around as long as man has been eating grains, and the proteins are difficult to digest anyway. And so when you block the digestion, or you have genes that don't seem to digest these proteins normally, you end up with an immune response. And so the other side of the problem is our immune systems are more stimulated, more on guard, and really all immune disorders are increasing as far as the epidemiologic statistics. The entire problem itself, as far as people reacting to gluten, could be as high as 1 in 2 people.
1 in 2 people.
Half the people.
And you have such a passion. Is that why you got into medicine?
Truthfully, between my interest in food, nutrition, fitness, and on the flip side, I got very impressed and intrigued by creation. Like when I learned in biology class how this cell meets this cell,
Yes.
and in 9 months, all of the cell division created a baby, and almost always it works out perfectly. Certainly there are times it doesn't. It just amazed me so. And frankly, I think that was the spiritual calling in its own form at that time, because really what spirituality should be most impressed with is creation.
I think you're so fascinating. There's so many things that we could talk about, but I know that somebody could actually reach out to you and go to your seminar. And how would they do that if they're watching here right now?
As far as the seminars that I do, I post a schedule on my website showing all of the different things that I do. It's called 6sidesofservice.com, or the abbreviation is SIX and then SOS for Sides of Service. So 6SOS.com.
And of course, we are going to have that on our show as well as on our website. So if anybody missed anything and they want more information, and I can't wait to have you back on our show and talk all about your music and your creative side as well. And it's been a pleasure, a true pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.